Hey, if you're anxious about food, if you're anxious about fashion, God cares and considers your needs. Not like feigning consideration. No, He considers you. He cares about you. He cares for your actual needs. And to be anxious about them is to not trust in God's security. And the second area that needs to change is my security, where I rest. My security, where I rest. Verses 25 through 31 consistently say this phrase, do not be anxious. Do not be anxious. Your Bible might translate that word as worry. We as human beings were made to rest in, to be secure in God's care and control for us, not our own. That's why the Bible calls us sheep all the time, and that's why it calls Jesus our shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, says Psalm 23:1. That the person who trusts that is the sheep who goes, I have a good shepherd who is leading for me, caring for me, providing for me, and in control of my life, and that's a good thing. I trust him. Worry, that word there, anxiety or worry, means this. It literally means to divide the mind with concern, being preoccupied. Think of it like mental real estate. That worry is a bad residence for you to rest in, to feel safe in. And when we worry, our security and rest is not in God's care and control, but our very own. And that is what worry is and does. Worry is believing the lie that you consider and care for your life more than the all-knowing, all-powerful God. I'll say that again. Worry is believing the lie that you consider and care for your life and your needs more than the all-knowing, all-powerful, compassionate Father who loves you. That's what worry actually is. And here you'll see in this section 25 through 31, it occurs 6 times. That's nearly a third, by the way, of how that word is used in the whole New Testament. It's right here. Right here in Matthew 6, 25 through 31, it says, do not be anxious about your life in verse 25. Verse 27, which of you by being anxious can add a single hour to his span of life? Verse 28, why are you anxious about clothing? Verse 31, therefore do not be anxious. Who is Jesus talking to on the Sermon on the Mount? Primarily a bunch of peasant farmers. It's his primary audience, which means these people had a lot that was outside of their control that they worried about regularly. The weather, whether it was going to rain or not. They worried about feeding their family and the livestock around them. They worried about thieves getting in and stealing their food and their crop. They worried about Roman occupation. They worried about heavy taxes. They worried about how to pay for weddings. They worried about war. My point is they're not all that different from us. Worried about their 4 walls. Worried about their future. Worried about their families. And Jesus just looked them in the eye and said, do not worry. Do not be anxious. Because worry is stealing your joy. Mark Twain said it this way, that I have known a great many troubles, but most of them never happened. What a horrible place to live in your brain is worry. Paul told the Corinthians, I want you to be free from anxieties. And that's how Jesus makes his argument. He just asks 7 questions. Is not life more than food? Verse 25. And the body more than clothing? Verse 26, are you not of more value than they? Verse 27, which of you by being anxious can add a single hour to your life? Verse 28, why are you anxious about clothing? Verse 30, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? Now look at verse 31. What shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? What's Jesus saying? Hey, if you're anxious about food, if you're anxious about fashion, God cares and considers your needs. The Father knows them. He cares about them. Actually cares. Not like feigning consideration. No, He considers you. He cares about you. He cares for your actual needs. Not your wants, but what you need. And to be anxious about them is to not trust in God's security, His provision, His power. There's something interesting about that word worry that I learned this week. That word we get in English, worry, comes from an old English word that I'm not going to attempt a British accent on, but it's pronounced weary on, okay? The British got that word actually from an old High German word, würgen. That word würgen in German means this: to choke or to strangle. That's where we get our word worry from, which would mean then that worry is like letting your mind be choked. That you're letting the world suffocate your ability to think. That you're letting the world choke out the hope in your life. It's strangling the joy from your mind every time an anxious thought is running rampant in your brain. And Jesus is lovingly telling you today, don't let your mind be choked by anxiety. Settle it in the person and promises of God. Your Father who dresses the fields of lilies and who feeds the birds of the air, who provides and is powerful, He's with you. And He's ahead of you. You have God bankrolling your life. Don't let the worries of this world suffocate you any longer. That's what Jesus is saying. So I think this is just a moment where we can just confess together in church, like, what is it that you're actually worrying about financially? I think that's a good thing to label and to recognize and to define this week. What are you worried about? What are you so worked up about? What is strangling your heart? What bad outcome are you imagining? And here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a moment with the Lord this week and confess your lack of trust in Him. God, I gave a small thing a big shadow in my life. My problem was big because you were small. Confess that. And then give that thing to God. Hey, Lord, I don't know how I'm going to make this bill payment work for school. Hey, I don't know how we're going to catch up with the amount of credit card debt we have. Hey, Lord, I don't know how we're going to make this happen when we have kids. Hey, Lord, I don't know how we're going to get this house. Do you see? Don't you see? Don't you see? That is worrisome. That is anxiety. You can give that to God and say, God, I don't know how that's all going to work, but I know you are there and you're going to meet my needs. And I'm giving that to you. And I'm saying, God, you can provide because you have provided. I trust you, God. Lord, I'm giving this to you. I am just a steward of the life you've given me. I am just a manager of it. And so, Lord, here I am with the things that I have. I'm saying, Lord, this is what I need. Oh, would you provide? And then ask for the faith to keep believing it. Because you might start that prayer for a week or for a month. But here at St. City, we're persistent with our prayer. We keep praying again and again and again and again. Why? Because God is working in the waiting. He is teaching you and shaping you and forming you even as you continue to pray, that He is helping you become a person of greater faith in the thing you can't see by trusting in God. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things unseen. And you have a substance to your faith, a real hope and trust that you can have because of who God is and His inability to lie to you. He keeps His promises. The first part of the text was a command to obey. This part is a promise to believe. God will provide for you. I'm going to say it again. God will provide for you. God will provide for you. Believe it. Seek it. Ask it. And let Him be your security. Let Him be the place where your heart and your mind and your soul rest from the worries of this world.